Any combatants will be apprehended or shot. Reveal yourself, in the name of the Queen. State your name, rank, and intentions. Area secure. We're in the clear. Area clear. You should consider enlisting. We need people like you. You lost? God save the Queen. Got business here? You need anything? Greetings, civilian. Stay safe, civilian. These are dark times. What are you doing around these parts? I'm here to serve. Anything you need? Can I help you? Any news? Glad you're with us. Good job out there. How goes the war? Blimey! Christ! Good Lord! Where did you come from? A little too close for comfort, mate. Run like hell and you'll be there. Yep, don't mind me. Stop running around like a cock. Get behind cover. What are you doing out in the open? Mind the gap and all that. You'd have to be insane to take on the Tommies. God save our gracious Queen. Long live our noble Queen. Rule Britannia, Britannia rule the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves. Clear the way! We're setting ducks. Move! I wish I could meet the Queen. We won't go quietly. You can count on that. I need covering fire. Cover me like your life depended on it. Bail out. Save yourselves. Tactical retreat. Oh, bugger it. Civilians, always making my life more difficult. Be more careful in future. Pick that up. I'm actually astonished. Don't worry, I got it. Let's give it to them, boys. We're second to none. We shall be worthy. Kill the bastard. Who dares wins. Shoot anything that moves. For Queen and country, men. You fought well. I salute you. A piece of cake, that was. Run along. Very well. Don't mess with us in the future. This is the Queen's land. You are trespassing on property of the Crown. You've made a big mistake coming here. I'll kill the bastard that did this to you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve this, friend. Huzzah! Swift and bold. Fire! Enemy spotted. I've got movement. Target acquired. Rule Britannia. I did my duty. Hit the mark. Need support fire, now. Suppressive fire, quick. Keep your grabby hands off that. It's locked for a reason. Don't even try it. Do you have a requisition order? Let's go, fellas. Fortune favors the bold. Gear up, we're going in. Oof. I'll personally deliver your head to the general. Thought hiding would save you. Contact? Keep going, men. Stop in the name of the Queen. Open fire on this traitor. You've made the biggest mistake of your life. I'd better check that out. Another one, eh? Who's there? Identify yourself. Never surrender. Get off your asses. It's over. Time for some R&R. We're in the clear, lads. Stand down, lads. Fight's over. I'm in trouble, lads. I don't feel so good. Keep going. Oh, bugger. Get off me at once. Down, boy, down. Yield to none. Damn you. Be damned. Oh, sod it. Fire in the hole. Baptize him in fire. That'll teach you to mess with us. Who? What the? Hey! What? What? You You'll pay. We'll never surrender. You can't hide from the Queen's finest. There's no stopping us. You will wish you were never born. For Blighty! Rule Britannia! Death or glory! Back it up, lads! Come on, chop chop! Don't stand around, full whack! Do you have a requisition order? Great, now I have to find an engineer. People have been court-martialed for less crimes than that. Ah! Careful, he's armed to the teeth. Get over here at once. Nice try. That was close. Blimey. Corner 'em. We have superior numbers. Flank 'em. That's it. Flanking maneuver. Stand down. False alarm. I guess it was nothing. False alarm. Resume usual duties. Ugh. Stop! In the name of the Queen. You are no match for London's finest. I'm glad to make your acquaintance. We won't be messed with. You hear me? You're not worth chasing. Huh? Who's there? Ahem. I must return to my work, though, I'm afraid. But fear not, my friend. I'll be here, diligently working late into the night, unravelling the mysteries of this crime scene. Try not to disturb it on your way off. Until then, stay safe out there in Old Blighty. Mind the gap. And you. It's a real puzzle, partner. I can't say for sure, but something definitely went down. Well, that's a tad rude. That could be a lead, but let's not rule anything out just yet. I'd better keep an eye out for anything else. This bruising pattern might suggest that the victim was restrained before the final blow. Maybe it was that. Maybe not. Yes. No, wait. No. You know, since speaking to you, I realized that it might be a good idea for me to get out there and find some contract work. Lately, I've been feeling like I'm going a bit senile, just cooped up in my house all the time. A change of scenery and some fresh challenges might do wonders for this old brain of mine. Being an investigator can be a lonely job, spending most of my time in dark alleys or dimly lit rooms, examining the grim aftermath of Old Blighty's mysteries. Especially after meeting you, I noticed how my memory isn't as sharp as it used to be, and I'm starting to forget details. It's like the fog of the past is creeping in faster than I can unravel it. Don't worry, I do emerge from the shadows every now and then. I need some fresh air, right? Let's start with the basics. Time of death, cause of death. The clock's ticking. No signs of a struggle nearby. But those rat roach bites on the leg might tell a different story. What do you reckon? The marks on the body suggest a rough life. Our victim wouldn't have gone down easily. Your guess is as good as mine, friend. All I know is, it ain't a simple story. Very well, be on your way. But remember, London is unforgiving. Watch your back, and tread carefully. Goodbye. I'll be here burning the midnight oil. Ta-ta! I'm not sure, but it's why I figure taking on some contract work will help me stay alert, keep my mind sharp. It's a way to challenge myself and make sure I don't lose my touch. Plus, the outside world always holds fresh mysteries to unravel, and I just can't resist the pull of the unknown. Ah, what a delightful twist of destiny. Here we are once more, relishing the opportunity to explore this brave new world together. Well, not everyone has the benefit of experience, I guess. You're right. No time for idle chat. There's a killer on the loose. It's as if my former assistant is speaking through you. You really must try to be less pessimistic and trust my wisdom. The very moment our eyes met, it was so. Unless you want to turn your back on fate, then it will be so. I'm not trying to contact spirits. Energy is a completely different concept. Here, maybe this will help you understand. Have you ever entered a room and felt off? As if something terrible has happened exactly where you're standing. But you can't quite put your finger on it. Murder. No suspect and no witnesses. Just one body mutilated beyond comprehension in an alleyway. And, well, you can only imagine how useful that would be in an investigation. Well, it's the same principle. Fine. This energy reading may take some time regardless, so take your time. You take care now, assistant. Well, this. I reckon some contract work will keep me on my toes, my wits sharp. It's a way to test myself and ensure I don't lose the edge. Besides, there's always some new puzzle to solve out here, and I can't resist the allure of the unknown. No wallet, no notes. Looks like our victim didn't want anyone to know who they were. I see signs of poison here. Perhaps someone wanted to make sure they left no loose ends. Then again, almost everything out here is poisonous. I've found traces of a rare substance on the body. I'll need to analyze it to determine if it played a role in their death. I've been able to fine-tune that feeling into an exact science. I can pinpoint energy. Search the area for the murder weapon, the tool of torture that committed this terrible deed. What? Yes. Sorry, I was immersed in the energies. Let him through. Let her through. No, that won't do at all. If you're going to be my assistant, you must follow my process. Put yourself in the shoes of the killer, and the answers will be revealed. Failing that, ask around. See if anyone can point you in the right direction. That does appear to be plausible. But we must be sure. Ask around. See if anyone can point you in the right direction. I'll be here if you have any questions or queries. Then you know exactly what I mean. I will meditate. Get an energy reading of this crime scene. See what the energies reveal. That's all, assistant. While you're at it, see if you can figure out the identity of this poor soul. Yes, you'll do. Let's get to work. Yes, I'm about to begin my reading. You there! Yes, you. Get over here. My former assistant had that attitude as well. It didn't do him any good. Due process can only get you so far. If he had embraced that philosophy, he mightn't have quit in such a dramatic fashion. I'd rather not get into that. Bad memories have no place on a crime scene. Well, look up. Do you see it? I would love to be wrong, believe me, but our killer is still out there. It is within these hidden currents that I, Detective Mycroft, will find the answers to this most perplexing mystery. I'd say the scrapyard around the corner is a pretty good bet. Yes, that assessment of the situation certainly feels correct. But give me the details. Let's see if they conform to my own findings. Unless you have doubts about that, you may have a future in this business. But first, I shall divulge my own findings. I'm afraid not. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't pick up on anything useful. It was like all the energies of the world had been sucked out of that place. She can't have had a very interesting life. Since my former assistant isn't around anymore to do it for me, I need to make sure this crime scene is under wraps. It's probably another dead end or a dead body. If this case is going to have a happy ending, I need to embrace my intuition to the fullest extent. Look up, they said. Look up! Her name's Elaine Schultz. She went missing a few nights ago. We only just got the report that she was seen entering here with a stranger that night. Sounds promising. Yeah. Take that telegram to the Postmaster General. He might be able to ascertain its origins. Where would one find a spare steering wheel, eh? Very well. Refrain from disturbing me unless it's urgent. By the killer, perhaps? Let's see. Shoot it down. The bottom of the stairs. The perfect place to hit someone on the back of the head, who walks up the stairs backwards. Certainly not a crime of passion. They waited for the right time to push the body. Perhaps I need to look at the flat myself. My apologies. This task requires an experienced set of eyes. I shouldn't have left it up to you. What? No. That's a job for the police, and they have a backlog. We need to be on the streets if we're to solve this swiftly, not behind a desk. I'll meet you there when I'm able, if you're right. Pray it's not too late. Oh God, who am I kidding? Interesting. Very interesting. But a red herring, I'm afraid. This has little relation to the central mystery at hand. I fail to see the relevance of that now, but keep it in mind. Money is the answer to most questions in Westminster. Let me see. No. This is clearly misdirection. You must be more skeptical. The truth is always interesting. And an obsessed stalker turned killer is a cliché at this point. I studied them for a while. Every imperfection, every pore. Then I closed my eyes. And they spoke to me. Did you get any leads at all from the red herring? So, no suspects found at the scene. Did you find any leads at all? You go and check it out. I'm going to have another look at the victim's abode. If I can't trust my own instincts, then I might as well be dead. In this matter, I am confident. That means the question of where the weapon came from is an obvious one, or at least it seemed that way to the killer. Otherwise, why hide it? Because there's no way out to that railing. Those windows don't open. It was thrown down. To start, I was picking up on some poignant energy in those two bricks over there. I knew it was irrational, but the bricks were calling to me, screaming at me. Maybe the killer wanted us to find the wheel. God, this entire case just feels off. It feels poorly structured. It has no rhythm. There's usually lots of different characters involved, and the killer's introduced early on. By the end of it, everyone gathers around, and I reveal the truth. This, on the other hand, is shaping up to be rather tedious. I mean, it could be the photographer, but that's just too obvious. It must be a red herring. I'd ask forensics to check if the blood matches, but we both know it does, don't we? Let me guess. You found a dead strumpet at the back of the scrapyard. I once knew a man who was terrified of gazebos. Now I can see why. They're natural stages for sinister deeds. So, it seems we actually found the second victim first. Most unusual. I have work to do. I think that gives us a good idea of what happened, but zero idea who did it. Just a bunch of red herrings and misdirections. Well, don't leave me on the edge of my seat. Do tell. This veneer of reality, this thin veil we perceive through our limited senses, hides a tapestry of energies, unseen forces that dance and intertwine in a cosmic ballet. Good luck, assistant. Impressive, but possible. I'm almost certain that's what happened. They didn't want to be spotted leaving the building with it, and they didn't want to leave it around, so they threw it somewhere likely to go unnoticed. Well. A wheel. Doesn't look right, does it? But why? Interesting. It was opened willingly, but the assailant made no attempt to talk their way in. Otherwise, the victim would have closed it behind them. So, She must have answered the door with some urgency, and she didn't have time to turn the tap off once it was opened. The corpse itself didn't yield much in terms of insight. It was perfectly usual for a crime like this. You must be talking about St. James's Park. I suppose you'd better check it out. What is it now? That's why you got the photographer involved. You were hoping he'd sell the photographs and cause a media frenzy. A bona fide financial crash, all resulting from my failings as a detective. Then, the world would see me as you do. It all makes sense now. This is it! We've done it! This is the clue that'll wrap this case up for good. Go on then, reveal all. It was you all along? Now I am confused. The energies are all out of balance. Each sentence I read sends a shiver down my spine. Each word feels like a dagger. Sometimes he seemed visibly disgruntled, but he never complained. Was it a jealous lover killing off competition? Or perhaps a disgruntled employee getting revenge on former co-workers? Exactly 95% of the bank's reserve cash. These calculations were found on the documents in the basement. Now, the people of Westminster, irrationally believing they are safe at the top of this house of cards, can rest easy. Really, the plan was ingenious. So much so that it would have worked, had it not been for your replacement here. We'll set up a decoy and catch Wilson red-handed. Quick, to Hyde Park! The ink on these pages holds more than just words, but traces of a conspiracy. Have a good look around down there. See what you can find. Good work, assistant. I'm glad you asked. It's a fascinating tale, full of twists and turns. Have no fear, Wilson. I understand fully. Where did we part ways? Right. The gazebo. After an hour of deep meditation, as I knelt there, I felt a pull towards the south and a nudge to the west. Trusting my instincts, I made my way through the streets, each step in tune with the rhythmic energies. I happened to arrive at the pub. The laughter and chatter were but a veil to the undercurrent of secrets that flowed through the aged wooden floorboards. Speaking to the bartender, he was disinterested in my investigation, but he seemed very passionate about the merchandise he had for sale. In order to get him to spill his secrets, I bought and consumed as much as I could afford. I'll alert the police. You should go to the chairman's address and see if Wilson has made contact. Quickly! Don't lose hope. We can't afford to. Time is not on our side. I must admit, I'm a little disappointed you found the killer before I did. But hey, I can't win them all. It was one of hundreds of theories I had been developing since the beginning. I knew for certain when I read that blackmail letter. I'm sorry I doubted you, Wilson. I should have treated you with respect and made sure others did the same. Eventually, the bartender told me I was barred, and two men picked me up and placed me outside of the establishment. I stumbled through the streets, pondering the bartender's peculiar words. You are barred. What did he mean? After a while of walking, I found myself at Buckingham Palace. In despair, I grasped the bars of the gate and demanded answers from the Almighty. Then I got thinking. Bars. Barred. I am barred. There was nothing else for it. I had to become one with the bars. I handcuffed myself to them and waited for fate to deliver me answers. A few people walked by. Some of them asked if I was okay. Most of them laughed, but I knew I was on the right path. Some men in strange hats, cavaliers, took offense to my methodology. They demanded I hand over my money in the name of the Queen. When I told them I didn't have any, that I'd spent it all at the pub, they said, "Good night," and knocked me out cold. Before I forget, Madam Coates, a relative of one of the victims, wanted to compensate you. I'd pay her a visit. Thank you for your time. Though our paths diverge henceforth, the pursuit of truth shall forever bind us in spirit. The first 3 victims were all estranged. You knew the executives wouldn't push for extensive investigations, not wanting further press attention. These killings weren't random, not in the slightest. All 4 of these girls were related to someone in the board of directors at the same bank. Was the Lord of Darkness so potent? What made him turn to this path? All right, calm down. I believe you. He says I'm a bumbling charlatan who relies on luck. If that's the basis of his plan, this investigation must be solved by the book. He wrote a letter? Let me see. You seem underwhelmed. Perhaps my delivery didn't do the story justice. My apologies. I'm so proud of you, Wilson. Go! Here, look at this bank's board of directors. 3 executives and a chairman. A load of bollocks that also happened to save your life. Or did you prefer being locked in that room, Does that sound about right, my dear Wilson? And that photographer will be pleased when he wakes up from his coma. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he had an unfortunate accident down at the station. You knew people would rush to withdraw their savings. All of this, culminating in mass panic. A run on the bank. Likewise, if you ever get out of prison, I'd be happy to have you by my side again. Are you mad? There are lives at stake. Get to it. You should have known better. These things always occur in 3s. The 4th victim, if there is one, will be of greater significance. Ooh, what about a greedy businessman bumping off whistleblowers? Oh, don't keep me waiting. Who's our killer? Forgiveness is personal. I don't expect those affected by his actions to give it out so easily. In forgiving Wilson, I seek not to absolve him of his actions in the eyes of society, but to find a semblance of closure in the narrative that binds us. You know what you need to do, assistant. Don't dilly-dally. Madam Coates wanted to speak with you. I wouldn't delay. Thanks for the assistance, but I'll be going solo from now on. Goodbye, Wilson. Thank you. To know I bear some responsibility for all this. As I said, I'll need time to reflect. No, it can't be. This looks serious. I never thought I'd see Wilson's handwriting again. Right now, it's the only thing that matters. I beg you, don't deny me of the truth. I see many of you are confused, so allow me to fill you in on Wilson's cunning plan. I find myself yearning for a period of reflective solitude, and besides, you are destined for far greater things. Why exactly? Well, with all the press attention on these murders, you knew the ransom would be widely reported. Here's the key to my home outside Westminster. Wilson would often sleep on the sofa in the basement. All right. I get your point. It pains me to say this, but we must step back and allow the police to work. Do you have any questions? Thank you. You're certainly more open-minded than your predecessor. You have been nothing short of exemplary in your assistance through these tumultuous times. I am indebted to you. Take him away. Each executive shares a surname with one of the victims. Surely this means that the next victim will be related to the chairman. I woke up on a bench, completely unaware of how I got myself out of the handcuff predicament. Clutching my head, which was for some reason pounding with negative energy, I thought back to the events that had transpired. When I raised my head, everything became clear. Right in front of me was the entrance of Knightsbridge Underground Station. Knightsbridge. Night. Good night. Get it? Ah, documents. The silent heralds of truth. Let's get you out of there. I'll help the police the best I can. Tell them who they're looking for and help conduct the search. As far as you and I are concerned, I'm afraid our journey must end here. Not just this bank, but every bank in Westminster, for who knows where you'll strike next. When you speak of luck, I humbly defer to the grand tapestry of existence, where every thread, every twist and turn of fate is but a stanza in the eternal poem of life. In my own way, indeed, there's a right path for everyone, and I believe we have both found ours. Of course, you had no intention of killing this woman. That much is obvious. The chairman's daughter, on the other hand, is a different story. He actually cared about her, at least not enough to want her murdered. Every deduction now feels like an accusation. I search for a thread of the man I knew in the web of deceit he's spun. Perhaps you are right, or perhaps he would have this anyway. Can you really know for sure? How could fate author such a twisted narrative? It's over, Wilson. There's no room for maneuver. You're surrounded, and the evidence is irrefutable. Hell-bent on ruining my reputation, he sought to cause as much negative press for me as possible. Yes, that does make more sense. I'll need time to reflect on this. For now, we must do our best to help the authorities track him down. The first 3 victims you did kill, though. I have no doubts about that. You planned to kidnap the chairman's daughter and hold her ransom, didn't you? And for how much? That's our decoy. Be ready. The evidence. It's painting a grim picture. Welcome back to the land of the living. Did you find anything of interest, my dear assistant? What did you find? It's finally over. Indeed it does. All you need is faith and a lot of patience. The search through this labyrinth of a city trudges on. The stage is set, the players are in motion, and the finale but a breath away. Wilson, my companion, my confidant, my brother-in-arms against the ceaseless tide of criminality that plagues this grey city.